Welcome back. All right, so we're working on a 2001 Chevrolet 1500 4x4. It's a K1500. It's the HD. Has a 6-liter. Has Hydro Boost. We're having some brake problems with it. I started out with a test drive, did a little inspection. Basically what's happening is when you put your foot on the brake, if you put it on quickly, the brakes seem to work okay. If you have to pedal it more than like 2 or 3 times, if you're just on like normal traffic, it feels like it's bleeding the fluid off to the back brakes, and it's wanting to lock the back brakes up. So I'm pretty sure it's a master cylinder problem. I did a bleed procedure. You can bleed the system with a scan tool. That's how you bleed these ABS systems out. And so I ran the bleed procedure twice. Didn't really seem to help anything. You can drive it, but it's probably a pretty dangerous situation to drive it like that, because you get like 1 or 2 good brake pedal pumps and then it starts bleeding. It feels like it's bleeding it all to the back. So we're going to put a master cylinder on it today, do a little bench bleeding and install this thing, do the bleed procedure with a scan tool and go drive it and see if that fixes it. All right, I'm going to start with trying to remove the fluid out of it with a turkey baster. You can use a pump or whatever. I like to use this method. It allows me to pull a large volume out quickly. Some master cylinders you can't. They got a screen in there you can't remove. Some of them have a removable screen. This one didn't have anything. You always want to dispose of it properly. I dispose all of mine with my oils in a 275 and have a recycling company come and get it. Now that I'm getting towards the bottom, it's pulling up a lot of contaminants. See that? All that black stuff? It's pretty nasty looking fluid. Flush your brake fluid out every, maybe a couple years, 2-3 years. Maybe all I pull out. All right, we got as much fluid as we can get out of it. I'm gonna crack these lines. Just gonna break them loose. Now, if you have trouble, you should use a line wrench, but these popped out pretty easy, so I'm not concerned about a line wrench. So we're stripping of these nuts. So I'm just going to crack them, and then I'm going to take the mounting, 2 mounting nuts off, 1 on each side here. The lighting's not very good in here. I don't have a headlamp on. I'll light it up here in just a second. All right, so you take off these 15s. They're pretty, this one, pretty easy to get to. They're fairly tight. I'm gonna have to set the camera down to bust this one loose. But if you're doing this job, you do have to have a scan tool to bleed this brake system properly. So if you don't have a scan tool that's capable of doing this, you're probably gonna have to have a high-end scan tool. I don't know about the cheaper ones you can get on Amazon and all that stuff. I've never ran any of those. I run an Autel primarily. I used to have a couple Snap-on scanners, but after they failed, I didn't replace them. I've got, you can get into a good Autel. I'm not even gonna get into pricing on them. Scan tools can get very expensive. If you're not doing this kind of work on a normal basis, you probably don't want to invest the money in it. Just pay a mechanic to do it. But if you like to do tinker quite a lot and you want to be able to work on a wide variety of cars, an Autel scan tool is a great investment. Does European cars, Japanese cars, domestics. It does cars in foreign countries that I've never even heard of. There's tons and tons of cars. You could go around the world with a scanner working on stuff if your heart desired. But it does a lot of factory functions. Like the brake bleeding procedures. You can calibrate some windows, and it has a lot of calibrations and functions and that a factory scan tool would have. I liked my Snap-on scanner too, but I dumped a lot of money into my Snap-on scanners over the years running my shop, and when they become outdated, they're just paperweights that you've got $10,000 invested in. So I just I don't work on that many cars anymore. I just do small repairs. Well, I just do small repairs and out of the shop here at the house, and don't have any employees. Just tinkering around and helping friends and families out, and some other people that get recommended to me. But I'm not doing high volumes, I guess I should say. I'm not just doing small jobs, but I do a little bit of everything. But it's I can't invest $20,000 in a bunch of scan tools, and I doubt you want to either. I don't know if the cheap scan tools that you might find at an auto parts store on Amazon will do this brake bleed procedure, but a good scan tool will. So before you get into this, if you don't plan on towing it to a shop or a dealer or whatever, bleed procedure done properly, just don't do it and have somebody else do it that can. Gear ratchet. A gear ratchet, it's a gear wrench, dummy. Alright, unplug the level sensor. Need a rag down here because we're going to lose some more fluid. Get this out of the way. No way around making a mess doing jobs like this sometimes. It's a wrong wrench, David. Alright, lines are loose. Mounting bolts are off. Master cylinder is out of there. Get this out of the way and get it on a pan so it can drip out the rest of the way. We're going to bench bleed the master cylinder. So what we're going to do, install these plugs that come with the master cylinder. I'm going to pour fluid in. We're going to take probably a big screwdriver. You can use a big punch or something like that to push the master cylinder piston in and out until you get the air out. You can get bleeders that go from here and push it back here, and you can just keep pumping until all the bubbles go away. You like do a stroke and wait a second, do a stroke and wait a second, so you don't get too much aeration into the system. But what I'm going to do is just fill it up, and I'm going to pump it and bleed each one of these one at a time. It's going to make a little bit of a mess because I don't have the bleeder tubes, and I don't feel like going back to the parts store and getting them. So I've done it this way a bunch of times. It's not a big deal, and I'm going to do a bleed procedure at the wheels and with a scan tool. So it's not totally necessary to do the bench bleed with the tubes going back in. You don't have to do it that way. You can just do it like your normal bleeding. Pump it, let a little fluid out. Pump it, let a little fluid out. It's just going to make a little bit of mess, so I'm going to get some towels so I can soak that up, and maybe throw me a catch pan under this vise real quick. Pour some new brake fluid in. Don't reuse brake fluid. Brake fluid attracts moisture. You don't want to reuse it. I went a little past max, but that's all right. We're gonna lose some in the bleeding procedure. Excuse my mess. We are lacking in storage around here. All right, so basically you're just going to take the plunger. I hope you can see this. This is a lot easier procedure with the bleeder tubes, because you don't have to be opening and shutting valves. And this isn't the best situation here either. Basically what I'm doing is just cracking it open on both of them. So it's not holding a seal, just barely open. Push the plunger all the way in, fluid comes out, hold it in so it doesn't draw any air back in through the holes you're opening. Shut them, then you can put it on. You don't have to do it a million times. It's a good thing to get as much air out as you can, but you're going to do quite a bit of bleeding the old-fashioned way up here anyway, so it's you're going to get the rest of the air out. Okay, I lost some footage, so I'm refilming a touch of this. So we bench bled the master cylinder. Now we remounted it, which is just the two lines, the two nuts holding it onto the, this is a Hydro Boost system, so it's holding onto the Hydro Booster. Some of them have a Hydro Boost. Sneeze it. Goodness. Some of them have a vacuum booster, some of them have a Hydro Boost. This has Hydro Boost, which runs off the power steering pump. Provides the vacuum for, or the power assist for the master cylinder. So we got that installed. Now we've got to jump inside the cab and do a bleed procedure with the scan tool. Okay. So I lost my footage. So here we go. All right, you go in. This is an Autel scan tool. I don't know if you can find bleed procedures in the cheaper scanners or not. I'm pretty sure the Snap-ons will do it, and I'm not sure about the others because this is what I own now, is Autel. So I use the Autel scan tool. It's a Max Assist 908, I believe. Go into history because I've already been in this vehicle. I've already done this procedure. I'm just showing you because I lost the footage. It's a 2001. You go into diagnostics. I went into history because I've already been in here and done this. So I'm not going to redo this procedure, but in this scan tool, you can go into hot function and you go into brake bleed, and you hit automatic brake bleed. It tells you, you do it with it running. It tells you to hold your foot on the brake pedal. It activates the ABS pump several times, and then it tells you completed. I usually do it twice. After I did that procedure, my brake pedal was perfect. So I went and drove it, and brake pedal went from bypassing all the fluid to the rear brakes to stopping fine. And we've got some other repairs we're going to do on this one. We're going to do an engine mount and a clutch fan, and clutch fan was digging into the fan shroud and burnt the clutch up on it due to bad motor mount on the driver's side. So we're going to replace the motor mount on the driver's side and the AC fan clutch, or the cooling fan clutch, and see if the air conditioning works after that. All right. Thanks for watching. It was a quick and short one. If you got your pedals fading away and it's wanting to lock the back brakes up, and it's not wanting to hold pedal can start sinking to the floor after maybe a couple pumps or whatever, you're losing brake pedal basically. Most likely it's a hydraulic problem. Check all your wheels, make sure you don't have any leaking fluid, leaking lines, stuff like that. And most likely it's going to be your master cylinder. But you got to dig in and diagnose it. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good one.